Hello, what is up everyone? My name is Sagar. In this video, I will show you how you can use HTTP request like post and the get method with the help of Riverpod state management in Flutter app. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. First of all, I will create one class. I will create one file which name is a API underscore service dot. Here I will create a class which is called API service. So here we will call here a HTTP request. So first of all, I will need to add the package which is HTTP package, because we will call a HTTP request. Okay, so I added a HTTP package, and also I wanted to add Flutter Riverpod package. So I will also add that package. Okay, here we have our HTTP package. So I will import I will import HTTP. So I will call it as a HTTP. So first we will get a list of user. So for that I will create a one future function, right, which will be the list of user. Right now I just wanted to give a void here, fetch user. This will be our function will be the async. Okay, the function will be the async. Okay, and the next we will say http dot get, because we will first use a get method. Okay, so the get, here you need to pass URI dot parse. So here I need to pass a URL. So first I will create a string, final string. It will be base URL is equal to double quoted. So for that I will use a dummy API from this rest.in. So first I will copy this URL, paste here, and there will be a so many API if you wanted to use for your project. So for that I will use these API users. So I will say /API. Here I will pass here the base URL. First of all, double quoted $base URL, and I need to pass here a users, because we will hit the endpoint which will be the users. Okay, this HTTP get is a future method, so I will need to wait for it, and I will store the response in a response variable. Okay, one second. Next I will check the condition if the response dot status code is equal to 200. If the response is 200, then I will first get that response. So response will be JSON decode. So here will be the response dot body, because we will get a response in the body format. Okay, so I need to store that. First of all, let me go and check what is the response. So if you hit this endpoint, you will get this response a 200, so that we are also comparing it with a 200, and then you will get a response here. First I will create a model of it. So for that, quick type, I will go into the quick type, open this and paste here. You will get a model for it. Here it is a dart. I will copy this response, go create a one file. This will be the user model dot dart. Here I will paste it. I will change the class name, which will be the user. Okay, this will be our user. I will use this user here also, because we will pass here a list of user. Okay, so I need to import this user model here. Okay, next will be the list of dynamic, because we will get a dynamic data, and the list variable name will be the data. Okay, next data dot map. You need to map it. So you will get a item here. Okay, item here. So then you need to take this user map, um, from map. You need to take this from map because we will get our data in the JSON format, so we will convert that JSON to the Dart map. So after that, so that you need to write user dot from JSON. Okay, from JSON you need to pass here a item, and this item you need to convert this into a list because we need to pass a list of user here. Okay, and you need to return this data to the map. Else, if you are not getting a success message, then you need to throw an exception here. Exception will be the fail to load the user. You can say like that. Okay, you can say like that. So first we will check if we get the data. If we get the data, we will pass that data, and next you also get that data in the data format. So I will also mention here as a data. Okay, next we will also create one more file which will be the api.provider because we will use Riverpod here. Okay, first you need to write here a provider. This is the plugin or a extension which will give us access to it. So if you wanted to install this extension, for that you need to go here extension and write a Riverpod. Okay, so this package will help you to give you a snippets for a Riverpod. I already installed it, so I do not want it to install right now because I already installed. I will write a provider here. First we will create a API service provider, and this provider is also type of API service. Here we have to return API service here like this, and it is also giving this error because we are not have not import that package which is Flutter Riverpod. I will import that package. Next, I also need to create a user provider. So for the user, we will create a future provider because provider will give you access to it. So for that I will use here a future provider, and we will not use a future builder here because Flutter Riverpod will give us access to a future. So I will here a future provider, and this will be the future list provider. Okay, and then this will be the list of user here. Okay, we also need to import this user model. Next I will ref dot watch. I will copy this API user provider, then use a fetch user here. Okay, because and it is also saying the variable name isn't lowercase, so I will make it a lowercase here. Next we have everything done. Next will be the UI. So for that I will create a stateless consumer here. You have a property here, stateless consumer. I will create here a user list screen. Okay, next I will import this consumer here, paste here. Next in the body I will, in the scaffold, in the body I will pass here, first of all let's remove this body scaffold from here, paste that scaffold here. Okay, and paste here this class name which is user list screen, and this will be the constant whatever. What is this error? Okay. Next here it is a user list. Here I will first ref.watch because I wanted to watch it. What do I want to watch it? I want to watch user list provider. Here I will store this into a user list. Okay, and I will say user list dot when. when is give us a property from a Riverpod feature provider. Okay, so this when give us a three property: data, error, and loading. So first let's fix this error. In this error, this error will give us a error and the stack trace. So I will say here, this will be the error and stack. Here I will write text. Text will write error dot toString. I just wanted to print a toString here. Next will be the loading. Loading will have a circular progress indicator, and I wanted to wrap this circular indicator in center and write here a constant. Next I wanted to build a UI widget which will be the list view dot builder. So first we will write a users here, and then I will write here a return list view dot builder, and item builder will have a two property: context comma indexed. Okay, I will return, first of all fix this first container for a dummy purposes here, and next you also need to pass here a item count. Item count will decide how many times you wanted to build this list view. So I will say users dot length. These users will provide here a length. Next will be, we will create this list view builder in a list style, because list style will give us a property like a leading, like a title and a subtitle. So I will say list style here. List style will have a property like leading. In this leading I will add a property here circular avatar. Circular avatar will have a property like background image, and I will say here a network image, and you need to first common these users. So I will say users in the index format, and I will store this in a user variable. Okay, user. So I will write here a user dot. So I wanted to use a avatar because network image will need a image which we can see here a avatar. Okay, if you copy this image you can find here a image. Okay, so that's the reason we are using a user and avatar. Next will be the title. No, sorry, title will have a property, can pass a property of text, and here the text will be the users dot first name space user dot last name. Okay, next will be the subtitle for the email. So I will write text users dot email. Okay, user dot email, we will show here a email, and let's check this if our app is working or not. Here it is saying that bad state, no provider scope is found. Oh sorry, I forget to add here a provider scope. So I will wrap this widget with the provider scope. Sorry, provider scope, let's check it. Oh, here it is, our list. First list, George Blut, email Janet Weaver, and here it is. Next I will show you how you can call a post method. So let's go into our API services. Here I will create one more function. So this function is also for future void default. I just wanted to write a void, and this will be a create user. Sorry, I wanted to show you which API we will use here. Next we will use a post API here. This post API is also endpoint is user. You need to pass a name and the job, and if you get a response, the response will be in the 201, and you will get a response in this format. Okay, so I will create a function here. Okay, so I will create a function here. So first is a http. Why not copy this function? and paste here. Here it is the async. Next, this is also the user endpoint. Okay, and this will not have a body, but this will be have a post method. Okay, and post method will also contain a body where we have to pass the data, which will be the JSON encode, because we need to pass the data in the JSON format. So that's the reason JSON encode. And here it will ask us, let me copy the name, and we will also pass this, get this name from the string name string job. So I will copy this name comma job, job here. Okay, so here it is a http post method. You are passing this URL and also passing the body. Here is also one more thing you need to add, because especially for the post method I will also need to add here a headers. So headers will be in the type of content. So the content type will be in the application JSON. Okay, so the content type will be the application in the JSON format. Okay, next, we do not have to pass into the list, because we do not have anything in the list, because we wanted to post it. And the next, I wanted to create a model for this map. Next, go to the quick type, paste here this model. I wanted to create a new model for it. So for that, this is a dart. I will copy this. No, I just wanted to copy this class. Next, I will go and create one more class, which will be say create user underscore model dot dart. I will paste here, because I wanted to use and change the name of the class, which will be the create user. Okay, I will use this create user here. And how I can use it, let me just cancel this. And I wanted to return here create user from JSON, and the JSON decode. So the response dot body here. And here it is also saying that void, but I wanted to use a create user here, so that I can return from JSON data here. If you have exception, I will say failed to create a user, okay, I will say like this. And next, you have to go to your API provider, because we wanted to use these API services. So for that, we will use a state notifier here. State notifier will give you access to access the API services. So I will write here a state notifier, and I will give this name a user notifier. Okay, and the user notifier will have a create user here, and this user can also a null property. Okay, and the next, I will pass here a null. And the next, I will use the API services. So how I can use it, I need to create a constructor for it. So I will say final API services, and I wanted to use the instance of it, API services. Next, I will also say here this dot API services. Next, I will create here a function. So future void create user, and this create user will have a two argument. First, the string. First, let me copy these instances from here, the name and the job. I will paste here. Okay, Next I will have a try and catch exception. So first I will write await. So ref await, and next you have, so write here a async property await. No, so I will write here a API services dot create user. Here you need to pass this name and the job here like this, and you need to say a state. You need to update that state here. So I will state this to a user, but I do not have it. Oh, I need to store this in a user so that I can call this user here. Else if you are not getting a state, so you can also default give a null here, because you are getting some error here. Okay, so this is our bridge between the API. Next you have to create one page for create user. First let me go to this main.dart. I will create here a floating action button. So the on press property, I will write here something. First let me create here a icon will be the icons dot add. Okay, let me just reload it. Here it is our button. Next I wanted to create a page here, which will be the create user screen dot. This will be the stateless consumer widget. So create user screen, and you need to import here a material.dart and the future Riverpod, Flutter Riverpod, sorry. And I will copy this name. Here I will say navigator dot of context dot push. I need to route to a new widget, so material page route, and this will be the context. You need to pass the context and paste the create user screen. You need to import this file create user screen and write here a constant. Next I will create here a scaffold, and in the scaffold we have a property like a body. In that body, first in that body I will write here a column, and in that column we have a children. You need to first create a field, which type of data you wanted to pass. First will be the name and second will be the job. So I will say a text field here, and text field have a controller. So first you need to create a controller, which will be the text editing controller. So first let me create a controller which will be final. You need to remove this constructor because I do not need it. Final name, sorry, underscore name controller. O is smaller, will be the text editing controller, and this will be the job controller. Okay, and next I will pass here this job controller, and the job controller will have a decoration. So the decoration will be the input decoration, and input decoration will have a label text here. So the text will be the name here, name, capital N name here, and you need to just copy paste this with the first will be the name here, sorry, the name controller, and this will be the job controller, and the label will be the job here. Let me check it. What is the issue? First go here. Oh, you have to remove this constant. and next I will navigate to it. Okay, here it is, our name and job, but it is doesn't look good, so I will add here a padding. Sorry, the padding, and also the app bar. So the app bar will have a title property, and title will have a text which will say create user. Okay, so this will also give like this UI, like this, create user, name, job. Next we also need to create a elevated button, because I wanted to also send that information. So for that we will have a elevated button. Elevated will have a sun on press property, and this child we will pass here a text. Text will be submit here. So in this on press property I wanted to get this name controller data. So for this, first I will write the name controller dot text and store this value in a name here, like this, and same for the job also, job controller dot text. Next we have to send this data to the provider, which will be the state notifier. So for that I will say ref dot read here. Why are we using here a read? Because if you wanted to use or send the data, then you have to use this read property. Okay, it is also saying that avoid calling read inside a build method if the value is only used for an event. Yes, you do not have to call inside this build method. Okay, for that you have to call a watch method, watch type. So here I will say, oh, I haven't created a provider for it. Let me go here and first create a provider here, which will be the state notify provider, and this will be the user notifier. Okay, and I need to pass here a user notifier, which will be this, and our class, which will the create user. Okay, here you need to return like a user notifier and ref dot read API service provider. Here we are going to use this API service provider here. Next you have to go here and you need to just call here that user provider dot notifier, Next you need to create here got a function which is a create user. Here you need to call this name and the job here, and this will be the await type, because this is a future. It is not getting await because you need to pass here a async. So let's save it and hot reload it. First I will write here my name Sagar, my job is, oh, I haven't given a spacing here, so I will give here a size box of height of 8, so it will look good. Yeah, it is also looking good. First I will write my name Sagar and the job Flutter developer. Oh, and also I wanted to print here. How can I print here? First go to the API service and you need to print here print response dot body, and it is saying don't invoke a print. So for that I will say kdebug and import a foundation library here, and yes, this is our on press property. Let's restart it, hot reload it, write a name Saga Flutter developer, and you need to click on submit. And here it is, our type Sagar, job is a Flutter developer. So here it is guys, we have learned a get method and the post method. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have any problem related to the Riverpod or HTTP call, please comment down below. I will help you to solve your issue. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.